Hey,
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
going well, going well.
Excellent,
Hi,
excellent.
714ers.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning for you. It's Sunday evening for us.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wearing all my Bear stuff. The Chicago Bears actually won today, which does not happen very often. So I thought I needed to celebrate a little bit. So there you go.
So you got to plug in for the Bears. I'm going to say that we just found out that the Colts tied the Texans. How can they
Tied.
do that? How do you tie? That's
ridiculous.
That's like kissing your cousin, you know? I mean, come on. You can't do that.
That's
you
ridiculous.
cannot end up in a tie. You can't do that. No.
There need to be standards. That's stupid. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm with you. So I'm not a big football guy, but I will say this: the Indiana Hoosiers are 2-0. So
Hey, there you go. That's all that matters in your world.
I don't know what Notre Dame is. I think we probably got some Notre Dame fans out there, but
We do. Be careful.
Yeah. All right, I'm not going to pick on them. But Ohio State, of course, they're
Yep.
2-0, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, they're no better than Indiana, so I'm a happy camper all of a sudden.
Wait a minute. Before we get started, what's Indiana ranked?
I think they're right 1 or 2, with the 0 being like 210 or 100.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for. What's a Monday morning 7:14 without a little smack talk? You know,
That's
I
right.
mean, got to get the juices flowing here, right?
Yeah. So I'm good with that. So Brock, I'm really, really excited about this, and I've whet your appetite a little bit. Here we are. We're going to read some scripture. We're in Genesis chapter 7. We're going to read the whole chapter. And I told you before we went on air that I found out something that has been a lifelong question, and it was answered today.
And I'm kind of dying. I want to know what it is. He wouldn't tell me before we started recording. It was killing me, man.
Yeah, so 714ers, I did not tell him. So if you're wondering what it is, you need to stay tuned to find out. And maybe I've just been living in a cave for all these 70 years, and and I should have known. And Brock's going to go, when I reveal that to him, he's going to go, Rick, I knew that when I was like 3 years old. What are you talking about?
That's pretty doubtful. I'm going to be honest.
It has been. Maybe it's been a question for you, but we'll get to it. So stay tuned.
You're not saying it now?
No, heck no.
Oh man.
We got to get to the scripture, man. We got to get to the verse before
You're killing me.
Sorry.
You're killing me.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't let weight become weight. You know what I'm saying?
I know what I'm picking up what you're putting down, man. All right, let's kick it off.
Right.
Genesis
You're
chapter
reading the whole
7.
chapter 7, right?
Yep, reading from the NLT.
Get at it.
So let's get it going. When everything was ready, the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the boat with all your family, for among all the people of the earth, I can see that you alone are righteous. Take with you 7 pairs, male and female, of each animal I have approved for eating and for sacrifice, and take 1 pair of each of the others. Also take 7 pairs of every kind of bird. There must be a male and female in each pair to ensure that all life will survive on the earth after the flood. 7 days from now, I will make the rains pour down on the earth, and it will rain for 40 days and 40 nights, until I have wiped from the earth all the living things I have created." So Noah did everything as the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood covered the earth. He went on board the boat to escape the flood, he and his wife and his sons and their wives. With them were all the various kinds of animals, those approved for eating and for sacrifice, and those that were not, along with all the birds and all the small animals that scurry along the ground. They entered the boat in pairs, male and female, just as God had commanded Noah. After 7 days, the waters of the flood came and covered the earth. When Noah was 600 years old, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, all the underground waters erupted from the earth, and the rain fell in mighty torrents from the sky. The rain continued to fall for 40 days and 40 nights. That very day, Noah had gone into the boat with his wife and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their wives. With them in the boat were pairs of every kind of animal, domestic and wild, large and small, along with birds of every kind. 2 by 2 they came into the boat, representing every living thing that breathes. A male and female of each kind entered, just as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord closed the door behind them. For 40 days the floodwaters grew deeper, covering the ground and lifting the boat high above the earth. As the waters rose higher and higher above the ground, the boat floated safely on the surface. Finally, the water covered even the highest mountains on the earth, rising more than 22 feet above the highest peaks. All the living things on earth died: birds, domestic animals, wild animals, small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the people. Everything that breathed and lived on dry land died. God wiped out every living thing on the earth: people, livestock, small animals that scurry along the ground, and the birds of the sky. All were destroyed. The only people who survived were Noah and those with him in the boat, and the floodwaters covered the earth for 150 days. Wow. Wow, God's not messing around.
He isn't.
He is not messing around.
He isn't, which we'll touch on that. So I want to start right out in verse 1, a New Living Translation. Read verse 1 for me.
When everything was ready, the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the boat with all your family, for among all the people of the earth, I can see that you alone are righteous."
Okay. Again, controversy, there doesn't need to be controversy. It's a point that I love New Living Translation, and mine also says go into the boat. But some versions, which I was studying, one American Standard Version says, "Come thou and all thy household into the ark. For thee I have seen righteous before me in this generation." To me, it says that is saying God was in the ark. He said, come in. Not, and again, New Living Translation, again, which version is exactly right? New Living Translation, again, just as a point of reference, says go into the boat. I don't want to know which version is right. Let's have a vote. No, none of that. But I love that maybe another version says, come into the boat. He was inviting them into the boat. The only righteous man found on the earth. And here he is, he's inviting him and his family into the boat. Come, he's saying, which I think he says to us. And again, I'm that guy who loves to bring it to 2022. I would say God continues to say to us, come. And he does say, he not only, I guess I'm going to use both versions here and kind of spin off both of them and say, not only does he say come, but he says go. Once you come, now go. I think he said that to Noah. Come in, I'm going to protect you for a period of time, and then you're going to go. So come and go. I mean, probably two of his favorite words that he ever created was come and go. I don't know. I'm going on a bunny trail I probably shouldn't go on, but anyway.
You're good, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, do you own a boat?
I do not.
I don't either, but if you need one, I know a guy.
Do you?
I know a guy. Get it? I know a guy. Get it? Dad jokes for days. That's good. That's good.
That is good. I know a guy. I
know a guy.
I really like that.
So you can keep that. Just store it back there. There you go.
I will try to do that. So that's just verse 1. Verse 2. You got anything about verse 1? Anything there?
Nope, you're good, man.
All right, jumping on verse 2. It says, "Take with you 7 pairs, male and female, of each animal I have approved for eating and for sacrifice, and take 1 pair of each of the others." It goes on to talk about that. So this is not the question that I have been wrestling with for 70 years. But some have wondered how did the animals come to Noah? How did he get them in the boat? The ones that God has said, hey. And well, in Genesis 6:20, I went back a little bit and looked, and it says, God said the animals would come to Noah by migration. They came. He did not go out searching and say, man, I wonder where those two giraffes are. I mean, they must have wandered off somewhere. No, he did not do that. They came to him. They knew. God spoke to these animals to say, you're going to enter, I don't know how, in their language or in God language or in whatever that is. He just instructed them to go, and they went.
Right.
It wasn't a chore for Noah.
Well, it's interesting to me, like you even think of the New Testament when remember there's the storm and Jesus calms the storm and everyone's like, who's this guy that he calms the storm? Like he just tells it to stop and it stops. When you start thinking about our God and his amazing power, like it doesn't matter, when you look at us as humans and you look at all of our advancements and all the things that we're accomplishing and all the boxes we're checking and autonomous driving cars and all this other stuff, like, wow, look at how awesome we are. But we don't have the ability to command animals to migrate to and get in a huge boat 2 by 2. Like it doesn't matter how awesome we think we are or how cool we think we are, how far we've come. Like we don't have that kind of ability or power to do that. There's only one that does. Yeah. And I guess I will pop back to verse 1 just for a second. Yeah. Imagine God saying to you, Rick, like, Rick, you're the only one righteous. Like, imagine how that would feel to have the God of the universe, the guy that's commanding, that's created everything first off to this point, and he's commanding all of it to head towards this huge wooden boat. Like, imagine if he looks at you and says, you're the righteous one, man. You and your family, you're doing it right. Like, man, I can't imagine how that must have felt for Noah to hear God say that, like that's just unbelievable.
Well, and to your point, God didn't say, you're just like Jesus. He didn't say, oh, you're going to be just like Jesus, my son, who's going to come and sacrifice. He didn't say that.
Right.
He called him righteous. Mm-hmm. He called him, what did he call? He called him, what did he say? Yeah, righteous is the word.
You alone are righteous. Yep.
So, you said, Rick, how would you feel had God, had I been Noah, or had he said that to me? Immediately, my mind goes to, I'm going to bet Noah started thinking about the things that he had done wrong. God, I'm not righteous. Oh my gosh, I messed it up here and I messed it up there and I did this on purpose and I did that. And yet he called him righteous. And he said, you're the one that I've chosen to do this work, to do this for me. So I just looked at that and think, wow, what an awesome responsibility Noah had placed upon him, but what an honor he had placed on him.
Oh,
by God
huge.
saying that. Yeah, by God saying that. And then God asking him to do something completely crazy, build a boat, not just a little boat, not a rowboat, but a big boat, a big boat out in the middle of nowhere. They had not seen rain yet. I mean, they didn't. I mean, what even is this thing? I mean, I'm guessing there was boats, but what's going on? Why am I building a boat here?
Noah's lost his mind, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what they thought. So little did they know that he knew the truth. Yep. So, and
one other thing.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one other thing about verse 2 I find very interesting is he talks about taking 7 pairs, male and female, of each animal that he's approved for eating and for sacrifice.
Yes.
Like, I think that's so interesting that God, we're still in the Old Testament sacrificial system, obviously, that God has made provisions for Noah and his family to still be able to sacrifice while they're on the boat. Because this isn't going to be a 3-hour tour. You know, they're not just going to be cruising around the island and coming back. Like, this is going to be a significant amount of time at sea, you know,
Yep.
floating around. So that I just find it awesome that God is like, hey, but you need to make provisions, and I'm going to make those provisions for you to still be able to sacrifice to me, because our God is holy, right? Like, our God is deserving of that and so much more.
Yeah. Well, and as you've already read, 150 days they're going to be within this boat. And that's a long time, 5 months. It's going to be a long time on this boat. So the preparations were needed. So jumping to talking a little bit about the animals. So I'm just asking our 714ers to put on their unoffendable hats. I'm just going to, I don't know if this is controversial or not, but God has never had a problem getting animals to do what he wants. I mean, we can train animals. Even man can train an animal. And basically God said, hey, you two, you're going on the ark. Hey, you two, you're going on the ark. Hey, you're going male and female. Let's make sure clarity there. Male and female. You're going on the ark. You're going, and they went. So right. I make that comparison, say only man is more stubborn than animals. Isaiah 1:3 says, here's exactly what it says: the ox knows its owner, and the donkey its master's crib. But Israel did not know, my people did not consider. Isaiah 1:3. We are so stubborn. We can have him talk to us face to face, and yet we go, oh, so what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to do that. And I'm going to guess when Noah was told, you know, build this ark and got the dimensions of it, he probably went, there is no way. And who knows what else went on through his mind, but he did it. Man is a stubborn being, and animals do as they say, they are told, basically. So just I guess just a point that I wanted to make. So I don't know if you got anything in between, but jumping down to verse 9 and 10, it says this: they entered the boat in pairs, male and female, just as God had commanded Noah. After 7 days, the waters of the flood came and covered the earth. Now, I don't know, this was something else that I caught as I was reading this. Noah and the animals and his family, I mean, there they are. They got on the boat and they had to wait 7 more days before anything happened, anything. So again, I stated earlier to you, don't let wait, W-A-I-T, become weight, W-E-I-G-H-T. They needed not to let the waiting become weight on their shoulders. I mean, did Noah probably think in those 7 days, on the 6th day, thinking, well, I built this boat, I got on all the animals as I was told to do, and nothing's happening. What the heck? I mean, what was
Did I misunderstand? What's going on here?
What was he thinking? So something else, again, I don't know if Noah understood, but they'd never seen rain. It had never rained up to this point. So I'm thinking he's wondering, what is going to happen? I mean, I built this, you know, here we are with it. We're within this ark, and how's it even going to move? I mean, sand don't move, dirt don't move. What's going on? So a real test of weight or of their faith. That they had waited for a long, long time and prepared for. So here they are in the ark, waiting on it to rain that they had never even seen. So very cool. So I don't know if you got anything to say about that, but verse 11 goes on to say, when Noah was 600 years old on the 7th day of the 7th of the 2nd month, all the underground waters erupted from the earth, and the rain fell in mighty torrents from the sky. The rain continued to fall for 40 days and 40 nights. The windows of heaven opened up. I think each person, especially adults who would pay attention to rain and torrents of rain and what have you. I mean, I made the statement, it's raining cats and dogs out there. I mean, it is raining. I mean, we got a rain today that was just, I mean, it really rained.
Yeah, it did.
But this completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, the heavens opened up. And not only did the heavens open up, I think waters came from under the earth. I mean, there was water coming from everywhere.
Yep.
And just what took place and how it took place and how long did it take to cover absolutely every part of the earth? I don't know. It may even say that somewhere, but the rain fell and it came very, very quickly.
Well, it's amazing to me when you watch nature. And again, I guess I just am always attracted to the idea of the amount of power the Almighty has. When you start thinking about torrents of rain, it's unimaginable to me. You know, my wife and I lived out in Arizona and did mission work for a while when we first got married. And out there, like, Western storms are awesome. Like, we lived up in the mountains, but you could literally see a storm rolling in from miles away.
Yeah.
And it was just, in the sky would be these brilliant pinks and purples as, you know, as the storm's coming or going, depending. But the lightning out there, because we were at, 5,400 feet elevation. So the lightning out there, it felt like you had a front row seat to it. And just the whole sky lighting up with these fingers of lightning just going across the entire sky. And all of a sudden you start realizing, because, I mean, it's kind of our human nature to think that I'm number one, I'm important, the world revolves around me. You start seeing things like that and you realize you're this big in the grand scheme. Well, that might be generous, maybe that big, Yeah. It's insane to think about. And that compared to what we're reading about here, though, is a drop in the ocean, man. Unleashing these torrents and waters coming up from below. Like, I picture it as a very violent thing. Now maybe it was more calm than that, but I picture it as a pretty violent thing. And I think, and if I'm jumping the gun, tell me to calm down a little bit here. But back in Sunday school or junior church, you hear the story of Moses. Good grief! They hear the story of Noah, and there's the cool picture of the boat with the door open and the animals 2 by 2 walking up, and it's all nice. And then, like the next picture is the boat floating, and the next picture is the bird flying. And we're not going to ruin that because that's to come. But like, it's this really like pretty concise thing. But when you start thinking about the amount of devastation, the amount of destruction, the wiping out of everything that breathes air and moves along, that's devastating. Noah's neighbors, the people that were making fun of him for building this boat, like the people that cut him off in traffic as he's riding his cart. I don't know, whatever. But like, all of those people just put asunder, just done. They're done. Yeah. And for me, I can't help but feel Noah feels like, okay, I'm honoring God. I've done what he wants me to do. He has deemed me and my family as righteous. But I can't help but feel like, man, there's got to be these segments, these moments where Noah had to have a heavy heart. Absolutely. Just thinking about the destruction that was happening all around him while his family was safe and cozy in this, I'm imagining, very stinky vessel. But
yeah. So
I said, I may have jumped the gun on that.
No, let's talk a little bit about that. So verse 13 says, that very day, Noah had gone into the boat with his wife and his sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and their wives. With them in the boat were pairs of every kind of animal, domestic, wild, large, small, along with birds of every kind. 2 by 2, they came into the boat, representing every living thing that breathes. A male and female of each kind entered just as God had commanded. Then, this is what I want to talk about. Then the Lord closed the door behind them. God kept the door open. He keeps the door open for us. And we just got through with Revelation, where we talked about where we thought, oh, okay, this is the end. There's no more after this point right here. There's no more. And then he gives another opportunity for some to come and know Jesus as their Lord and Savior. And we think, okay, this is it. And then nope, he gives another opportunity. Well, here, when the door is closed, the door is closed. And I just want to read this. There came a time when the door had to be shut. It had to be shut. Why? Because that's what God said. The door is going to close. That's what he said. And he's a man of his word. When the door is open, the door is open. But when the door is shut, the door is shut. Jesus is he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. So for me, the ark was salvation for Noah. He knew I'm the only one, my family are the only ones who are going to survive this catastrophic event. And I've heard it just a little bit. I've heard, well, that only happened in this part of the world, or that only happened here. No. Scripture talks about it covered the entire earth. It was an earthly event that happened. So the ark was salvation for Noah, but condemnation for the world. There were no second chances at that point in time for those who were outside of the ark. When the door was closed, the door was closed. And at some point that will happen again. So just bringing that to light. Got anything there or no?
I was just going to talk about the verse 19, 22 feet above the highest peaks. What's the highest peak? Is that Everest is the highest peak in the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
just
I
thinking
think so.
about like how many people climb that and end up dying in the process because it's so high and so treacherous and all that. And the water was 22 feet above that. You know, the people that say this was a localized flood, that kind of shoots that theory in the foot. Like that's not,
Yeah.
I don't think that's real possible here when it says above the highest peak. It doesn't say above the highest peak in that region. It says the highest peak.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
So we're coming to the point. The big
We're doing it?
The big
Let's do
reveal
it.
happened. So I've had a lifelong question in my mind. How did the fish? I mean, he killed everything. I mean, that's what I thought. He killed everything. So except those that were on the ark. So, I mean, was there an aquarium on the ark? I mean, how did the fish end up back, make their way back? Did they evolve? Was there evolution involved in this? I mean, I've always wondered what about that? It didn't really bother me, but I just wondered. So as I was reading, so the question I had was, how did the fish drown? So, and if the fish were destroyed, how do we have fish today? That was a question that I've always had just in the back of my mind. Verse 21 and 22 have cleared that up for me. Here's what it says. And the Lord was pleased with the aroma of the sacrifice and said to himself, I will never again curse the ground because of the human race, even though everything they think or imagine is bent toward evil, toward the childhood. I will never again destroy all living things. As long as the earth remains, there will be planting, harvest, so on and so forth. Well, going back up, it says, let me make sure here. I know where I'm at. I thought it was I'm in 8. I'm sorry.
I wondered what was going on there. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. 21 and 22 says, all the living things on earth died. Birds, domestic animals, wild animals, small animals that scurry along the ground, and all the people. Everything that breathed and lived, here's key, on dry land died. The fish didn't die. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I thought everything died. I thought it was all done. And then I thought, I've even thought about the birds, well, the birds wouldn't have died, but they couldn't have stayed afloat if they could float or fly for 5 months. I mean, I just get that in my little mind. So it says God wiped out everything, every living thing on the earth, people, livestock, small animals that scurry along the ground, the birds of the sky, they were all destroyed. The only people who survived were Noah and those with him in the boat. And the flood waters covered the earth for 150 days. So I had an epiphany, I guess. The fish didn't die. They've been there all along. Been swimming. They were swimming along the ark.
Yep.
The ark. They were right there the whole time, and I didn't know that. So, by this whole thing that has taken place, I believe God demonstrated with the flood that He keeps His promises, and sometimes they're hard to swallow. But we've created that issue within ourselves. And He's totally faithful to what He says. He's always going to be faithful. If He says it, it's going to be done. And we need to realize that. So,
yeah, the fish probably had a heck of a smorgasbord.
Yeah,
they probably had plenty to eat.
Yeah,
which I guess is kind of morbid to share in a 714, but that's just the reality, right? I mean, that just is what it is.
Yeah. So the last thing that I want to say was verse 24, and I already read it. Then the flood waters covered the earth for 150 days. I just found this, and it says 150 days. Some suggest that God would put some or many of these animals into a period of hibernation for this period, meaning less food, less space, less supervision was needed. God provides many animals today with an amazing instinct for hibernation. We know that. We know that from watching TV and the study of like bears and what have you. It would be no difficulty for Him to miraculously impart a unique instinct for these particular animals. 150 days safe in the ark, God sustained Noah and his family through this time of catastrophic catastrophe and judgment. Shut in and sheltered from the storm and the flood, they were safe, and God protected them during this time. God is such an awesome God.
Yes, He is.
A protector. Yes, and again, I want to say a man, Jesus, I'm thinking about, but God is a God of His word. Capital G. There's only one.
Yep.
As Pastor Jason spoke to us today. There's many little G's out there, but there's only one capital G, and that's God and God Almighty. And He is to be honored and respected, and He doesn't demand our love. He wants our love, and hopefully we would give that to Him. So,
absolutely. That's good.
What a chapter.
Amazing. I do want to give a quick plug to all of our local 714ers. If you missed church yesterday, today for us, but yesterday for you, I'm not trying to be that guy, but you missed out. It was incredible. Starting a new series on mental health and how important it is. And Pastor Jason at our campus talked about anxiety and what a burden that is for us and what to do with it. It was incredible. So go back and check that out as soon as that's loaded on YouTube. I assume it'll be later Sunday afternoon or sometime on Monday.
Or even Tuesday, possibly. I don't know when it comes out, but look for it. Yeah.
But check it out because it is really, really good. And honestly, I want to throw the hook out there for everybody. Come the next 3 weeks, because we're going to be talking about some mental health stuff. And I think it's important for us as a church to have those conversations, to know, like, it's okay to struggle and it's okay to talk about it. You know, we sometimes get this weird misconception that we're not able to talk about that stuff. So I just want to do a quick plug for that.
Yeah. So I just also want to say something about that. He also spoke about being a good listener. We are providing an opportunity to be a listener. So if there's someone that you might know that, nobody will listen to their issues, to what's going on, we will. We want to. So we've asked those who were in attendance to fill out a yes card to say, hey, I need someone to listen to me, to hear my story, to hear my side of what is going on. Will we have answers? Maybe and maybe not, but we're here to listen to that.
Yep.
And I shared in the huddle this morning where I talked with a person and listened to their plight, their issues, what's going on. I sat with them for about an hour and a half. And at the end of that, I had no answers, and I still don't. At least answers that this particular person will hear. So if you want an answer, be prepared for the answer. But we're good. We'll be good listeners and try to give you godly counsel, godly coaching to whatever situation is arising in your life. Everybody's
Yep, absolutely.
Every one of us. Brock's got stuff. I mean, look at his hat, people. I mean, come on. Yeah, everybody's got some stuff, and there's none of us really above one another.
For sure.
So
we're all in this together.
We are. We're better together for it too.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
All right.
Well, awesome. Well, hey, 714ers, have a fantastic day. Go attack that Monday. Get your week started off right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good week. I can feel it.
It is.
It's gonna be a good one.
All right. Enjoy your day. Thank you for allowing us to help kick off your week. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same station, 714. Here we go. We'll see you on Tuesday. Blessings to each one. Have a great day.
Yep. Have an awesome day. Love y'all.